Welcome, everyone. This is Pilot Needles, and you're listening to LOTRO Players News, where we take a look at Lady Susan LOTRO and here at LOTRO Players. And this week we have with us Sanswinda.
Hello.
And Krister.
Hello.
Hello, everyone. Are you all anticipating the anniversary?
I can't wait to rub it in people's faces to see what I get next.
That's right, because next week we are going to be having the anniversary event, and in celebration of that, of course, there is going to be an update, because they need an update in order to get all those rewards into the game. And therefore, next week we are going to have update 35.1, and they had the final round of beta on this week so that we could have a look at it. And it is going to include, first off, Quathranost of the Witch King Citadel. They're still tweaking that. We could hope that that is ready by the time they actually are issued, because it looks like they're still doing some tweaks in order to get things working there. And the second thing that they're adding here, which I did not know about until yesterday, and that is that they are updating the avatars for the race of man.
Woohoo!
Uh-oh.
Yeah, uh-oh. Yes, they're updating the avatars, and they are giving a much wider range of choices than there existed before.
Oh, cool.
So there are new hairstyles, there are new types of facial hair, and there are now two sets of details instead of just one detail in there. You can have a look at how aged you look. It's a separate item in there. Wider range of skin tones and hair colors and the like. And several other more options. The thing is starting now to have some selections in there that are more thought of from going into ESO than rather than LOTRO in there, because there is a much wider range of what you can do. If you have an existing character, all those options are going to be available at the barber. So if you think you want to try one of those new selections, then just go to the barber and you can see all of the options there that are available. And there are several more times options now, or will be after the update, than there are currently. Now, one of the things, though, that's a consequence of this is if you're still using the old avatar, because this is the second time they've made avatar updates, if you're still using the original avatar and therefore had the new avatars disabled, then that's not going to work anymore, because they had to take away that feature when they're adding all these new ones, because they couldn't support 3 different sets of avatars at the same time. So yes, that's one of the big things that's going to be in there, and I'm sure if you're playing the Race of Man, you're going to go and try to see what all you can do to make your character fit your style.
I'm trying to think of the last time I actually visited the barber.
Now you have to remember where the barber is.
I remember going into the Prancing Pony.
Yes, there is one in the Prancing Pony. So yes, you can go to the Prancing Pony or to the Bird and Baby, and I'm sure there are other barbers all over the place. Because I do know of one in Galtrev, but where the others are, I can't remember. There are also a number of class changes that they have this week. Of course, nowhere near compared to the class changes that they had in Update 35 itself. These are some additional tweaks that are being made in order to get to the level that they are seeking. And I want to go over those next week when we have the full update release notes. When they have that all coming in, there will be some updates. The pets, Bear and Harold taunts no longer apply threat ketchup.
Is that like a sauce to go with the burgers or fries?
Gosh darn it.
Balrog bites.
Beat me to the punch.
Oh,
I was like, is it? Are they going to still retain their threat mustard though?
well, let's say only if you're next to the mustering horn. Yes, and
I regret
apparently,
everything.
yeah, they've been having some issues with pets breaking instance encounters if they were able to hold aggro on bosses. So until they have more comprehensive fix ready, they're reducing them to force taunt only.
No, but
Whatever,
break
I've seen-
instance encounters, does that mean like save party from wiping? Or does that
Yeah,
mean
I was
like
going to say, I've seen heralds destroy entire raids before.
Okay. And we also have, let's see what else in here for a couple of changes in monster play that they have in here. Audacity now correctly multiplies damage by 0.55, reducing incoming damage by 45% rather than by 55%. And as for quests and instances, the final boss in Darker Seer, the Vile Apothecary on T4 now drops the correct chest. Well, it's good to hear that.
Now, is the correct chest better or worse than what was dropping before?
Well, I would hope that I'm assuming that it used to be maybe doing a tier 3 or tier 2 one, and that's the reason why they closed it, so that people wouldn't be complaining about not getting. I think that they closed tier 4 of that instance soon after it came out, and something about the loot in there. I guess it was because it was dropping the wrong chest. I strongly doubt it was dropping the tier 5 chest because.
I was just hoping that, one time it was just something better, that was
Yeah. Yes. And the quest into Sandlower, the Poison Gardens, has been adjusted so that it shows up in the Angmar Reborn category of the quest log. It'd be nice if it goes into the correct location on that. And also, in general, they have shadows on water now only affect the water debris layer, algae, sea foam, etc., and not the water itself. And ocean water in Bophalis, Peligir, now correctly retains its green color in the dawnless day. All right. And they also backed out the monster mitigation changes as they were exacerbating the difference between DPS classes' armor penetration too much at higher levels. And some old Avatar cosmetics and steeds have been moved off the Myrtle Mint and onto the Curator. So they adjusted that little bit also. And that's a quick look at the release notes. Remember, I did say that I'm going to go through the whole thing next week when they have the final release. Or at least we hope they have the final release, because if they have to delay the release, then they have to delay the anniversary. We can't have that.
I better get my anniversary gift on time.
Yeah, you should be. Well, yes, if they get it out in time, then they should have the anniversary on time. Now, traditionally, Cordovan has a special event that he runs on the anniversary day to celebrate this. He's going to have to delay that by about a week this year, but the anniversary is going to start on time. It's just that his special event on it is going to be a little bit later this year, and that's because he's got jury duty on the day of the anniversary. Oh, yeah. So then, let's then leave the game news for the moment and head into the store sales. And Sans, what's on sale this week?
Well, this week, if you are brave enough or foolish enough, you may forge your own ring. Yes, get 20% off Crafting Guild access, ingredient packs, crafting accelerators, rapid crafting tiers, and recipe books through April 20th. And your weekly coupon will get you a free landscape soldier token with the coupon code free soldier. FREESOLDIER. And that is also good through April 20th.
And let's into our weekend gaming. Krister, what were you up to?
Oh, I had a variety of things happening after my weekend of sickness last weekend, and my favorite part of last night was kicking Pine Leaf out of our fellowship.
Poor Pine Leaf.
No, we went ahead and we had 7 people, so Pine Leaf graciously surrendered his position so that another would join. And so we basically just got poisoned. I guess I don't know if this was the tweak that they did on, when they were talking about increasing the morale and the potency of the enemies. I don't know what it was last night, but it was like the vermin were dropping like 6 puddles each at once. I mean, we were getting these incredible just concentrations of puddles. So we pretty much had a night of humiliating defeat over and over again.
Were you running tier 1 or tier 2?
We ran tier 2 at first. And it once again was just like, it was manageable up until the final boss.
Right.
And then the final boss is we're just not understanding the mechanics yet. So we just couldn't get it done. Although what was cool about it was one of our kiddies showed up who plays a guardian, so he tanked, and I got to fiddle around with the blue and red lines a bit. So that was pretty fun. But we didn't complete it. However, 2 people did get teal boots, so we'll chalk that up to as a win. Okay,
did you go back and do it in tier 1 afterwards?
We did, but one of the fellowship had to leave, and we tried to 5-man it, and we did the same thing where we got to the final boss, and then we just were dying over and over again.
Okay.
And we finally hung our heads in shame and said good night. So, and then in ESO, the orc's been running vent after vent after vent, and I've almost got. I have this like crimson minotaur look now with my outfit, and he's definitely every inch the Red Bull. So I've been having fun with that. And then I saw a character name that inspired maybe something I'll have to work on. This character's name was Borf, and I don't know why, but I just found Borf to be pretty awesome. So it's we have Bilbo Baggins, we have Bingo Boffin. So how about Borfo Boggins? And then he would be part of the Better Business Burrow. How about that? The Burrow, get it? Underground, the Better Business Burrow. Anyways, I'm insane. That's what I basically tried to point out.
I know. I would think that you'd be more like Worf than Borf.
Oh, and the question that I had lingering in my random psychotic thoughts was, if the One Ring was a ring pop, what flavor would it be?
A ring pop.
Yeah, you remember those, right?
It would be an any flavor one. Whatever the person who saw it most loved, that's what it would be.
But what if a person really loved puppies?
Whatever flavor the person most loved.
Okay, that's good enough. Sans, what did you get up to?
What I got up to is not nearly as interesting as your question. As far as gaming goes, I did a few minutes of landscaping in Dragon Quest Builders 2 this last week. And that was pretty much it. How was your week in gaming, Pineleaf?
All right, I'll begin by talking about what happened in Friday Night Fight. After leaving Krister's group, I went over to Mythgard and we ran the sewers, as you could say, the den of vermin. So we ran the den of vermin. This was at tier 1, and I was thinking, all right, how much below ploy must we be that even with the ploy we just steamrolled through tier 1, and then we just kept on getting wipe after wipe in tier 1 with but it looks like it must have been the mitigation changes, because it looks like ploy was, no, of course ploy was 5-manning it at the time, but apparently they had as much trouble with it as we did. So
well, did you guys notice I think the thing that really stuck out was just felt that there were so many more puddles.
Well, the problem is my memory of how many puddles there was from the tier 2, so it's hard for me to make a comparison. I mean, there were certainly a lot of puddles. Now, it could be that maybe at tier 1 that the puddles used to be weaker, because it was the puddles that were killing us. So maybe that, but we were certainly being ripped to pieces.
Yeah, we were getting you'd have 6 puddles dropping at once right on you. So the moment that they drop, you take 500,000.
Yeah, well, I sort of felt like that they had a puddle where you're at, and almost like they had new puddles surrounding you. So if you stood there, you took a lot of damage from it. If you moved, you took triple or quadruple damage from the other puddles that you had to go through.
Yes.
So you can't win. Yeah. And it just looks like as soon as we hit the cleansing button and got all nice and cleansed up, they dropped more puddles on you. It just didn't work out all that well. Then on my Warden, I ran a couple of tier 2 and tier 3 delvings, so I'm tipping my toe a little bit deeper into the pool over there to see how they go. So it looks like I can survive tier 3 delvings on my Warden. I guess that's good. I try to see how far I can get, because I think 3 is probably as much as I thought I was getting, but maybe I could get into 4 and 5 at least.
But don't delve too deep.
I don't want. Yeah, you're right. Because when I delve too deep, I'll find myself in the red circle constantly, I'm sure. Or at the beginning of the instance, I guess, is what's more likely to happen. My Runekeeper headed into Central Gondor. So I was still doing quests all through there. I reached Peligir. And so I guess I'm now doing some quests inside of Peligir. And I think that soon I'll be getting through it. I'm just doing the epic, or at least I'm doing mostly just the epic, seeing how currently I'm at level 101, which means that this is a time where I really should be going into the Wood of the Roses, shall we say. So I'm going to stick to the epic until then, until I get to the Rite of the Rohirrim. Then my low-level lore master chased off a ring raid in the Misty Mountains, and then I headed into the Angle, where I'll be doing a little questing there so I could get to a level where I could head into Angmar. And that's it for my week in LOTRO. We currently have 13 supporters on Patreon. If you'd like to join these illustrious rated players and help support LOTRO players, you go to the donations page to support the Players Alliance on Patreon. Your money will be used for our podcast hosting, website hosting, and to pay for our live shows. If you would like to send us an email, you can send it to podcast@lotroplayers.com. The Players Alliance has 2 shows. On Wednesdays at 7 p.m. US Eastern Time, we have DDO Players News. Though in practice, I think we record that at any time but 7 p.m. Eastern on Wednesdays, but that's another matter. And on Saturdays at 8:30 p.m. US Eastern Time, we have LOTRO Players News. You guys choose our shows at lotroplayers.com/live. And that's all for tonight. And this is Pilot Needles reminding you to skirmish responsibly.